Good morning, everybody. Hello, hope you're doing well. It is Thursday morning at 8:30 here in Utah on Mountain Time, and we are getting ready to start day 3. So we're on day 3 of our Jump into Wellness workshop. So I hope you guys are ready for some fun today and to learn some new things about stress. So on the first day, day 1, we talked about joyful movement and the benefits of exercise, right? And hopefully you guys have tried this week something that you feel joyful about, whether it's going for a walk or doing a new sport or doing something fun with family or friends to enjoy moving your body. And then day 2, yesterday, we talked about mindful eating, and we talked about the importance of tuning into the needs of our body and the 7 different types of hunger that our body may be experiencing, and how we can take care of some of that emotional hunger with getting an emotional toolkit and things that we can use to help us with our emotions, to help us comfort ourselves and nurture ourselves. So we've moved joyfully, we've learned to eat mindfully, and now today we're going to learn about stress resilience. So I feel like a huge part of wellness, probably one of the biggest things, is that people don't know how to handle stressors. We all, and I know I'm there too, have a hard time handling stress. And what do you think we do when we're stressed out? We don't eat well, we don't exercise, and it's really very bad for our health. So I feel like if we can handle stress, we can learn coping skills and ways to handle stressful situations that come up in our lives, that will take care of our overall well-being, right? So the part of being able to calm your mind, handle stressors and things that come up is huge. So there's a lot of reasons that we want to look at stress, because stress can cause headaches, it can cause muscle tension, chest pain, it can cause all kinds of problems, fatigue, stomach upset, not being able to sleep, and maybe you guys have experienced some of those. Say hello if you're here, give me a like or a heart, and just let me know, have you ever experienced any of those physical symptoms of stress, like headaches, fatigue, upset stomach, any of those kinds of things? Problem sleeping is a huge one. I know a lot of my clients say that the wheel gets turning, where they're thinking about a bunch of different things late at night, and it's really hard for them to get to sleep. So tell me what your thoughts are. Anybody share with me what kinds of things you see as far as the effects of stress on your physical body? Go ahead and type it in and let us know what you're seeing as some physical effects of stress. Not only are there physical effects of stress, which is not good for, there's a lot of illnesses and things that stress can induce, and it can keep us from working, from taking care of our kids, from enjoying our lives. But stress also affects, of course, our mood, right? Cheryl said leg spasms. So sometimes she gets leg spasms with stress. So there's that physical. Yeah, and a lot of times there's that tension, right, in our body. So some of the common effects of stress on our mood is anxiety, restlessness. We don't have motivation or focus. So it's really hard to do your wellness when you're feeling stressed, right? We don't have much motivation. We might be irritable. That whole, I'm stressed out, I want to pull my hair out. We're more irritable. We don't feel good. We might be more sad and depressed. And then, so stress affects our physical well-being, it affects our mood, and it also affects our behavior. So when you think about kinds of behaviors that people do when they're stressed, they might get really angry, they might overeat or undereat, not eat enough, problems with abusing drugs or alcohol, tobacco use, withdrawing from social situations, and then not exercising as much. So there's a lot of impact to stress. And I want you to know that we can't really avoid stress. And when you guys think about stress, Cheryl said shoulder pain could be another thing that she would experience with stress. Yeah, and a lot of times, I don't know if you guys notice that we do this when we're stressed, or we clench. We clench a lot of our muscles and we're holding them tight. I know I have a lot of neck and back pain when I'm really stressed. Another big thing that we do, and that we're going to be discussing today, is that we actually hold our breath when we're stressed out, and so we don't allow ourselves to to breathe and get that breath that's so important for us to feel well-being. So we're going to talk about that today. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my light here. And how we can manage stress, how we can find some different tools to use to better manage our stressors. So anybody else want to share something about some of the effects that you've noticed stress has on your body? I know I have a lot of clients who say that's what triggers their emotional eating, is they come home from work, or they're in the middle of work, or they're with their kids and they can't handle it. They need something to make them feel better, so they go to the food because they're so stressed about things. So go ahead and share with us in the comments if you do have any things that come up. A lot of times when we're stressed, we feel overwhelmed, like this is too much, I can't take this anymore. What are the things that stress you guys out the most? Maybe tell me in the comments. I think a lot of things are children, deadlines, having too much on your plate. Like you've got work stuff and church stuff and family stuff and all these things going on. So there's a lot of stressors all at once on your plate, and that can be really hard for people. So the dictionary defines stress as mental or emotional strain or tension from adverse or demanding circumstances. So it's pushing on us, right? Adverse circumstances are pushing on us. And Cheryl said traffic. Yeah, that is a very stressful situation when we're in traffic. We're trying to get somewhere and nothing's happening, or we're not moving, right? That gridlock kind of a thing. So stress is that pressure or tension that's being exerted on a material object. And actually for us, when we're feeling stressed out, it's the pressure or the perceived pressure that we feel like we can't handle these demands that are being put on us. So stress can be actual demands, like you're in traffic and you have to weave your way through, or it could be a perceived demand. Like you could be thinking, I have too much on my plate, I cannot handle all of this. And our perception is our reality, right? And so if we perceive that it's super stressful, then it is. And we also, when we're stressed, we don't think, oh, I've got a stressor and I'm going to do fine with it. We actually think, I can't handle this. So something that I work a ton with my clients, and I feel like is a big problem right now in our society, with us being distracted, with us being, having so many different responsibilities that we have, work, church, family, friends, all these things, is stress is a huge problem for people. And it leads to anxiety, which anxiety, again, is a constant state of feeling that stress and worry and not being able to get yourself off the rat wheel, right? When we talk about the rat on the wheel that just keeps spinning with worry and concern and stress and fear, I feel like a lot of people are being driven by fear right now. So something that I use with my clients that I kind of wanted to share with you guys is, if I open my door right here and behind that door there was a big, huge, ferocious tiger about to come and attack me, my stress response would go, right? The amygdala, that's the part of our brain that's like, get you out of here, fight, flight, or freeze. It would be telling me to jump out the window, right? So we have that, it's to protect us from danger and to help keep us safe, right? But sometimes when we're dealing with anxiety or stressors, we think that it's a big ferocious tiger with his claws and everything, but it's actually a stuffed animal. And when I talk to my clients about this, it's like, a stuffed animal doesn't really hurt you, right? But you perceive or you see it as something that's going to hurt you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, how we perceive stress and what we think of stress and how we react to it. So anybody else have any things that you see as common things that you do when you're stressed? What kinds of things, what kind of behavior do you have when you're stressed out? I know for me, I'm more agitated, and I'm more will lean towards like eating something that, or just feeling really overwhelmed and holding my breath. That's a big one. So I think that it's cool that stress is actually our body's response to threat. And it's to warn us and protect us, right? The world we live in right now, though, there's not really any imminent danger that we're in. I mean, some people may have that, but the majority of us do not. And so when we feel threatened, then our nervous system responds and it releases those stress hormones like the adrenaline and the cortisol. And that gets us into action where we're like, get me out of here, emergency, this is a bad situation I'm in, I gotta get out of this. Your heart pounds and your muscles tighten and your blood pressure rises, right? So all of those things are stressful to our body. Not only are they stressful to our mind, but they're physical stressors. And do you think that going through this, your blood pressure going up, your heartbeat going up, and all of this, it's going to have an impact on your health and well-being for the long term, unless we can learn how to handle our different stressors. And it's not like we're going to be able to get rid of stress. I mean, there are definitely some things to be said about prioritizing and taking things off your plate, and saying no sometimes, but there are always going to be things that are stressful. And so learning ways to cope with our stress is huge. So I want to talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. So we talked about stress. It's that either perceived or real threat. And anxiety is actually a feeling that we have. And so something that stresses us out could turn to anxiety. And anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness. We're just feeling like not at ease, or like that something's going to come and get us or hurt us, or we're not certain about the outcome. I had a client yesterday who was super stressed about something, a decision he was making in his life, but it was leading to anxiety where he couldn't stop thinking about it. He's thinking about it constantly, and he was thinking of the worst case scenario. So when you think about stress, it's some exertion from some force, either outside of us or inside of us, that we think we can't handle, right? So that's our perception. I can't handle this. And then anxiety is when we perseverate on it and we think about it over and over and over and over again. And we don't know what the outcome is going to be. And so sometimes we go to the worst case, right? We think of the tiger rather than it's a stuffed animal, right? So I want you guys to tell me what you've noticed maybe triggers anxiety for you or makes you get into that where you're thinking about something and worrying about something. Is there anything that you've noticed that really triggers it? So anxiety and stress are not things that necessarily we can't do something about. We can do something about. And that's the exciting thing is I have studied a lot in mindfulness and mindfulness-based stress reduction specifically, and how being mindful, which we talked about mindful eating, and learning meditation and learning even just deep breathing can help you with your stress. So that's the exciting thing, is that we can be resilient to stress. I love the term resilience because it's like we can bounce back from something that really pushed us and that really was hard for us, right? We can bounce back and we can learn from it. So I love that concept. So we talked about stress's effect on the body and on the mind, depression, overeating, getting angry, those kinds of things. Sometimes we even withdraw socially and we don't really want to exercise or eat well when we're stressed, right? Either people don't eat or they overeat when they're stressed a lot of times. So stress is a lot, there's a lot there that it affects both our body, mind, and I think spirit, because when you're in that feeling of tension, you're in a more fearful state than a faithful state or a trusting state or a, calm state. But our body wants to protect us. So we want to teach our body that it's safe and it's okay. So we're going to talk about 5 different steps that we can use to kind of calm our mind and help ourselves through stressful situations. So, because I like the idea of rather than reacting to our stressors, we're actually responding to them. So when we react, it's like we go into fight or flight. We want to fight. We're angry. We're irritable. We want to get out of the situation. It's like the alarm's going off. Beep, beep, get out of here, kind of a thing. We're more in that panic mode. Where if we respond, it's more, noticing what's happening here. Noticing I'm feeling this stressful feeling. Noticing, and it's being aware of your situation. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, and how to relax and calm your brain. So this is pretty exciting. So the first thing that I want to talk about is simply breathing. And it seems so simple, but it's huge. And I know I've used it a ton in my life when I'm going into a situation with a client that I know is going to be demanding and very stressful. Like I say, I had worked in hospice for a long time, and I would walk into homes where there was a lot going on, a lot of emotion, and I use this quite a bit. So we're going to talk about breathing, and I'm actually going to have you guys practice breathing. So it's not just any kind of breathing that we're wanting to do. We're wanting to do belly breathing. So if you guys know what that is, where your diaphragm actually goes out and you're taking a good breath. You can't really see my diaphragm right now, but think of it as you're expanding as much as you can through that diaphragm area, and you're breathing in. So breathing in through your nose. And then I have my clients hold it, because that holds the tension there, because you're feeling tension when you're stressed. So we breathe in. And you can do this with me, and then hold it for 4, and then breathe out through your mouth. And we want to breathe out through our mouth twice as long as we breathed in. So we breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 8. Tell me what you think as you're trying that, as you're trying this breathing today. So the cool thing is, we can maybe last maybe a month without eating. We could last probably a while. We wouldn't die without eating. And we could probably last a couple days without drinking water. But how long can we last without breathing? A few minutes, right? Before we're brain dead. So breathing is so essential to our health and well-being, to our wellness. So I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to think about how important just stopping yourself and breathing. And that little breathing exercise of in for 4, hold for 4, and go out. And you're pursing your lips as you let all the air out. You can do that anywhere. You can do it in your car. You can do it when you're, just reminding yourself to do it in different places that you are, in different situations when you find yourself being stressed and feeling that stressed out feeling. And what do you think that breathing does? So, does anybody know when we're in fight or flight, what is happening to us? It's a stress response, right? So our parasympathetic nervous system, we want that to be engaged, because the sympathetic nervous system is the system that's like fight or flight, get out of there, getting us into that stress response. So we want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system twice as long as the sympathetic nervous system. So if we're feeling our heart racing, we're getting tension, our shoulders are tight, we're breathing more rapidly, just taking that breathing really can calm us and put us into that parasympathetic calm system, like when you're sitting at a beach or you're listening to some still music. So did you guys try that? What was that like for you, to just breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out? And you want to breathe out as long as you can. Just let it all out. What was that like for you guys? Give me some hearts or likes if you were able to try that out. So again, when you're breathing through your nose, in, and then out through your mouth. You can try it as often as you think about it, right? You don't need to put a timer on or whatever, but just when you think about it, or you notice yourself getting tense, you could try it throughout the day. You don't have to necessarily count. You could just breathe in and then breathe out. I'm glad you tried it, Cheryl, and you liked it. So it's just a simple practice of breathing and getting yourself centered again in this moment. So it's a mindfulness practice, right? Because instead of your brain going over here of what's going to happen, oh no, what if tomorrow this happens, and I don't know how I'm going to handle this, and I've got all these responsibilities, you're bringing yourself back to center, and you're slowing this stress response so that you feel that calm parasympathetic nervous system coming in and just calming you, making you feel really good. So that's the first thing, is we want to deactivate the stress response by breathing in through the and opening the diaphragm, and then breathing out. And you can practice it, like I say, throughout the day. The second, so that's the first hint of being able to handle our stress, and calming our anxious mind and coping with that. And the second thing I want to talk about is that sometimes we think our thoughts are facts. Like if I think a thought of, I'm not very smart, then I think that's a fact, right? Or if I think a thought of, I don't look good today, I think that's a fact. So a lot of times our thoughts are not facts. Sarah said it helps us to understand the mechanics behind it. Yeah, like that, of breathing and how it can slow our nervous system and get us into that parasympathetic. Yeah. So the second thing is we're going to explore our mind tricks. So I want you to think of it in this way, that sometimes what your mind plays tricks on you and the things that you think are not true. So it's okay for you to question your thoughts, like, is that true? How could I know that that really is true? Or is that just my mind playing tricks on me when I start feeling anxious? Like for my one client yesterday who said, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I'm going to have to move out of state. Everything, is just really hard and I'm not going to be able to handle things. And I've had other clients who've said, they think of that, like, this is going to be the worst case scenario that could happen, like I'm not going to be able to go to school. I have had a couple of teenagers that are like, there's too many bullies, I can't go to school, and they start really fearing all of that. So I want you to think about questioning your thoughts. If you were to question the thoughts that are fearful thoughts and say, is that really true? Or is that my brain playing tricks? Is that like the stuffed animal versus the real tiger, What if there is a different explanation that you could explain for that situation? What if things really are going to work out well for you? What if when you go to school, the bullies won't be there and they won't talk to you? What if you actually feel really good and you're able to feel confident in your decisions and you make a decision that you feel really good about? So instead of the worst case scenario, I want you to think about what could be another likely outcome of my situation. So the first thing we talked about is breathing, really tuning into your breath, doing breathing in for 4, out for 8, being able to calm yourself that way. And then I want you to think about changing the way you think as far as challenging your beliefs. So, hi Amy, how are you? The next thing is mindfulness. And I know I talked to you guys yesterday about mindful eating, but mindfulness is powerful wherever you are. And you can have anything be the subject of what you're focusing on, but mindfulness is about focusing on the present moment. So when I did my mindfulness-based stress reduction class, she had us go and walk around. It was in this beautiful garden, and she had us go and walk around, and she said, I want you to just pick one thing in nature to focus on. So I found this little bud on this tree, that it was springtime, and it was raining, and there was rain on the bud, and I just focused on that. So when you think about mindfulness, you're focusing on the present moment, right? What you're feeling in that moment. And your breathing is a good way to bring you back. So I want you to think of, for this third one, mindfulness as if your thoughts that come in, those fearful thoughts of I can't do this, I can't handle this, like they're kind of, you just notice them. I just noticed I had a fearful thought, or I just noticed I said I can't do this, or I said I'm not good enough, or whatever. And I want you to think about it as if it's a cloud that floats through without you holding on to it. So you're keeping yourself present in the moment because you're letting the thought kind of float through and you're not holding it in that wheel. We talk about the anxiety loop of stress and worry and all of that. You're letting it just kind of float through. So does anybody have any other things that they use when they feel stressed or anxious that are helpful for you? Go ahead and put it in the comments there, or other things that you've found to be good and helpful to you. Anybody have anything else? So the first thing is breathing. Breathing is great. Like I say, that takes us out of the stress response and brings us into that calm state, right? Sarah said, counting my blessings. Yeah, so when you're fearful, you're looking at negative, right? And so when you can look at the positive, that's huge, right? So breathing is a big one. And then I want you to challenge your thoughts and say, is that really true? And how do I know that's true? And then the third thing is letting the thoughts kind of float through as if they were a little cloud kind of a thing. Cheryl said exercise. Yeah, we talked about joyful movement on Monday, and exercise is huge in helping with stress because, again, it helps you to regulate the breathing and get your blood moving and kind of bring you down to that calm state. And Sarah also said, remembering times when things have worked out. I love that because you know, when you're thinking the worst case scenario, it's very panicky. It's very you're very stressed out. But when you think, oh, what about the times that everything has worked out for me? And I listen a lot to things about the law of attraction, which is whatever you put in your mind is what becomes. And so whatever you focus on grows. So if you focus on positive, that's what grows in your life. So I love that idea. And sometimes I've used the phrase, everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Or it'll all turn out. It'll all be worth it, right? Kind of a thing. So the fourth thing that I wanted to talk about in calming your brain, Cheryl said art. And Sarah also said, do something lighthearted for a while. Yeah. So you can, sometimes I talk to my clients about this too. You can change the channel, right? When the channel has a scary movie on, I don't want to watch it. I'm going to change the channel to a comedy. I used to do this when I was a kid. If I watched a scary movie, I'm like, well, now I need to watch a comedy so I can feel better, right? So you can change the channel in your brain. If the channel in your brain is going to a fearful place, you can change it to a fun place or a happy place, kind of a thing. I like that. So the next part is, I call it the sticky note sort, because I want you guys to think of it like you're pulling a sticky note out of your brain, right? So you're naming the thought. Instead of judging the thought, you're just naming it. You're just saying, I just noticed the thought I had right now is very critical. It's a criticizing thought. I noticed the thought I had is a worry thought. Or I noticed the thought I had is a judging thought. And you're just kind of sorting out the thoughts that you're having. And so you're being aware of what your mental habits are. Or I just had a joyful thought, or I just had a calming thought, kind of a thing. So you're kind of keeping track of that way. Another huge one, and I think I think Cheryl talked about exercise, right? So number 5 of helping calm our stressed and anxious mind is moving, getting up and moving position. This could even be, you know, when I'm sitting at my computer for 3 or 4 hours, just getting up and stretching for a little while, maybe doing some yoga, going for a walk around your home or in your neighborhood, getting up and moving. This could be stretching, taking a walk, just distracting yourself in a way, you know. Science has found that exercise can decrease your levels of tension in your body. And when we're stressed, there's tension everywhere. There's tension in our muscles, there's tension, and it can also elevate our mood, and it can also improve our sleep and improve our self-esteem. So there's a lot of really good reasons that getting up and moving can help us with our stress. So the last thing that we're going to do, and it's almost 9 o'clock. Does anybody have anything you want to share about either some of the ways that you've seen that you've been able to bring yourself from a very anxious place to a more calm place, or some of the effects that you've seen, or questions that you have about how to deal with stress? Go ahead and put some comments in there. The last thing we're going to do, and I know I can't see you guys, but you can see me, is we're going to actually do a mindfulness meditation. So meditation is actually a kind of a way of being, right? It's getting your brain into a place where instead of being a human being, you're just being a human. Instead of being a human doing, you're being a human being, right? So you're just being, which is hard for us in our busy world to just allow ourselves to be. So in this meditation, you guys can shut your eyes or you can keep your eyes open. But our whole goal is mindfulness is to bring us to this present moment. So you're experiencing everything that's going on with you right now in the moment you're in. So if you're sitting in a chair or you're standing or you're walking, you're experiencing all of that. So I want you guys to kind of go ahead and get yourselves really comfortable. And we're going to go through this little meditation to help you. And you can, meditation can be anything from 5 minutes to an hour. There's a lot of different types of meditation. For my Mindfulness in the Mountains event, I do like 4 different types of meditation. One is a simple stop meditation where you just stop, you observe your thoughts, and then you go forward. Another one is a loving kindness meditation. So if you're having a difficult time with someone else, or just loving kindness towards yourself, there's some phrases that you can say, you know, may I be peaceful, may I be safe from harm, those kinds of things, as well as we do a walking meditation, because walking can be meditation. It's focusing on what does it feel like to walk, what does it feel like to move my legs, to move my arms, and we also do some more mindfulness meditation where we sit and we really experience the moment. So I want you to just get comfortable wherever you are, and we're going to kind of go through this meditation. So think of it as right now you're allowing yourself, you're giving yourself, and give me hearts or likes if you're still there, and you're giving yourself time to just be. And that's a powerful thing. They've actually done studies that when you can take time for yourself and meditate in that, it helps your overall health and well-being and your happiness. I noticed for me, I look at the world differently as I take time to just be still and meditate. So get comfortable and allow your body to become still and just notice your breathing. So we're going to do this as a breathing meditation. So going in, you don't have to breathe in any particular way. You're just tuning into your breath. And like I say, you can keep your eyes open or you can shut your eyes, whatever you want to do. You're not changing your breath in any way or manipulating your breath. You're just breathing. You're just slowing, you're just listening to the way your breathing is. And you feel your abdomen extend, and you feel that breath as it falls, as your abdomen falls back towards your spine. You're totally being present in this moment, just experiencing what this moment is about. You're going to notice that your brain is going to wander off, and you're going to think about what do you need to do today. You're going to think about what happened yesterday, and that's okay. The awesome thing about mindfulness is you're coming in and you're noticing what's happening, but you're not judging it as negative. You're just noticing, okay, I noticed that I'm trailing off in this direction, worrying about what we're going to have for breakfast or what the kids are doing, and I'm just going to bring my mind back to my breath. So bringing it back to your breath is the focal point, okay? So I want you to do that. Being totally present in your breath. You're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere right now. You're just being present with your breath. So your mind might wander off into thoughts or fantasies. Again, it's a little wandering off little child. You bring it back and you bring yourself back to your breath. And when you notice that your attention is no longer here, simply bring it back to that breath and notice your breath. And as you're noticing your breath, bring yourself back to just the sensations that you're experiencing in your body. What are you noticing? Do you feel your back on the chair? Do you feel, if you're outside, do you feel the breeze? If you're inside, do you feel the air? Just noticing what you're feeling in your body from head all the way down to your toe. And you're just becoming aware of the different sensations that are in your body right now. So just noticing that. Again, you can shut your eyes so that you can focus really on your breathing. Just being present right now with your breath. What does it feel like when you breathe in through your nose? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your nostrils? Do you feel it in your abdomen? Where do you feel the breath? Just noticing where you're feeling that breath. Just noticing it. We're so busy doing so many things. This is your chance to give yourself some time just to be kind to yourself, just to take this moment of stillness, to be a human being without having to do anything. And just notice whatever feelings might come up for you without judging them, just noticing what you're feeling. Just noticing it. What are my thoughts and feelings today? What am I worried about? Just noticing those without judging them. But keeping yourself back to the breathing and coming back to that breathing. Coming back to the breathing. Now allow your awareness to expand and move, noticing what your mind is doing. Just noticing what thoughts you're having, but instead of following those thoughts where they're going to go, just letting them again float through like a cloud, noticing the thoughts and letting them go through. It's like almost like you're like observing the thought and just letting it go pass through. You're just observing the thoughts as if they were events, and they come into your awareness and then they float out of your awareness. And again, we're going to go back to, if you notice that you're no longer here in this moment, present in this moment, just bringing your thoughts back and bringing yourself back to your breathing. Just noticing the breath and what it feels like. Coming in your nose, expanding your diaphragm, just noticing how that feels. Just noticing what kinds of thoughts you have. Just noticing what kind of habits you're in with your thoughts. And bringing yourself back to that breath. Noticing the thoughts without pursuing the thought or rejecting the thought, just noticing it. And again, bringing yourself back to that breath. Being present in this moment. What does it feel like to be here in this moment, wherever you are, at your home, sitting on the chair, sitting at the table, just noticing that. Just noticing your feelings. And as this meditation is ending, I want you guys to congratulate yourselves on taking time to just be present, and to experience what it's like to be in a state of quiet, calm, for making time for yourself today and giving yourself that gift of calm stillness. And like I say, we just did this for about 5 minutes, and you can do it at any time wherever you are, just to bring yourself to that calm place again. So anybody want to tell me what your experience was like? Have you done that before? Does anyone have any experience with meditation or mindfulness? You tried any of that before? Kind of tell me what your experience was. Was it weird to be online, being quiet and meditating? Kind of tell me what your experience was. Anybody? I see there's three people still there, so what was that like for you guys? I have tried to make this a constant practice in my life, and even if I only have 5 minutes, I've noticed that it is helping me with the brain stuff that's going on, where I get into a wheel of thinking patterns, or I say things that are negative to myself. Emily said it's hard to keep my thoughts centered. Yeah, and that's common, and that's okay, because when we're meditating or we're being mindful, it's the biggest thing is self-compassion and love, and it's a practice. So the more you do it, the more you get used to seeing your thoughts as a cloud and letting them float through, right? And being able to keep yourself back to that breathing and noticing that. So right now, I think that's great, Emily, that you were able to notice what was going on with your thoughts, that they were kind of going all over the place. I think that's the kind of cool thing about meditation is you're actually quiet and everything. So when you're quiet, you can see the rippling of your brain and what's going on in your thoughts and that. So Sari says it helped my body to relax, have less strain in my muscles. Awesome. That's huge. So taking downtime, it sounds like it's so simple, right? To just take some time to notice your breathing and really be mindful. And you can use anything as the subject of your mindfulness. Like I said, it could be a bud on a flower. It could be you're out walking in nature and you're going to keep concentrating on a certain tree, or, the meditation being something along the lines of something that you see in nature. Cheryl said, I'm watching with my husband. It's helpful and peaceful. He received inspiration and self-acceptance. Wow, that is great. That's huge. I think that's one thing that I noticed too, is that I had some negative self-deprecating thoughts, and maybe you guys have all dealt with some of that, where you think I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing good things, or I'm not happy enough, or whatever it is. And I noticed that for myself too in meditation. It's like there's an overwhelming feeling of peace and well-being. It's hard to explain. It's like kind of a spiritual experience. So I love that self-acceptance. And that's what I felt when I saw this little bud on the tree. I was like, I'm like this little bud. I'm out there in the world and I'm trying to do what I can, and I make a difference. And you just that feeling of feeling really accepting of yourself is huge. So I love that. Anybody have a bad experience with it, or not like it, or think it's hard to do it over Facebook Live? Usually I have a little chime that I do. And if you get to come to one of my events, which I would love to have you guys come to one of my Mindfulness in the Mountains events, we actually do it up in the mountains. So we've got a little stream that we go by, and there's the flowers and the leaves and the breeze, and it's wonderful to just experience being present in the moments, because we're really distracted in our world, right? So anybody else have anything you want to share, or anything else that you experienced with that? So we're almost out of time, and I have loved this. This workshop has been so fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Give me some likes or hearts if you've had a great time and enjoyed learning about 3 super important things, and it's all about loving yourself. So finding ways to move your body that are enjoyable for you. We talked about joyful movement and what the benefits of moving your body are for your mind and your soul, right? And your heart. And then we talked about mindful eating and how important it is to really be present with our food and not make our food bad, but really just be noticing what the food feels like, what it smells like, all of those different sensations that we have. And then today, really being able to notice that we can do something about the feeling of being stressed, that we can do some breathing to bring ourselves to a calm state, and that we can find ways to be mindful, to really be present and notice what's going on in our situation, putting away our cell phones and really focusing on something that helps us feel calm and that loving and self-acceptance. I love that. And thanks, Sarah, for your compliment. I appreciate it. And the last thing that I want to say is next week I'm going to be starting a class, and it's all about, it's 6 weeks long, and it's all about creating daily health habits and priming your brain for success. I feel like the biggest reason that people have a hard time with their health is because of their mindset about it. So I'm going to help you uncover some of the things that have been discouraging for you about, eating well or exercising, and I'm going to help you be able to prime your brain in a way where you're attracting the things that you want in your life, right? So we do a whole vision statement about who do you want to become, what do you want your life to be like, and we say it as if it's already happening. I am fit, I am happy, I am healthy. So we have a whole week on that, and then we have a week on overcoming discouragement, and we have a week on mindfulness in eating and mindfulness in movement. And then I have a whole thing on the power of habits and how do you create habits. We all have habits that we already do. And in the course, we're going to learn about how we can connect habits that we already do to something new we want to try, like eating healthy or exercise. And we also talk about support and accountability. Who can help you and support you with your goals, right? One is me. I'm going to help you. I would love to be your accountability partner, but also who in your life right now is willing to support you in changing the way you eat or move, or just being able to take some things off your plate to manage your stress and learn some meditation techniques. So it's a 6-week class. It's once a week for 6 weeks, and I would love to have anyone who wants to join me. It's Jumpstart Your Summer class. It's going to start on July 18th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So let me know if you're interested in that. You can also go to my website to sign up, if you go to flourishwellnessconsulting.com and then you go under Great Stuff, it's there, and it's the Jump into Summer class, and you can sign up for it there. So I would love to have any of you that want to join. I have a special right now going that if you sign up this week, it'll be $299. If you sign up after that, it'll be $350. So yeah, it's a 6-week class and it's going to be great. It's a class where we can see each other. So I use a video conference. So you'll have other people throughout the US that are there to keep you accountable and support you as well. So it's a group class and it's a lot of fun. I've done it 2 other times. And if you want to talk to someone who's done it before, I would be happy to put you in connection with some of my clients who've taken the class before. But it's to help you to prime your brain for success in creating health habits so that you can have a lifestyle that's healthy. So anyway, I am excited about that. And if you're interested in that, please let me know. And I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining me for this workshop to jump into wellness, to actually enjoy taking care of ourselves, to really love moving and eating well and meditation and just enjoying your life more. I hope you have a great week and a great day, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you on your journey to wellness. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day.